Welcome to the Park Skyline View Suite here at the Park Hyatt Shenzhen. Now, I've been on my trip to China for about 1 month's time now. I'm just about wrapping up my time in the mainland, and I've gotten many questions from you guys in the comments of my previous videos about things like how do you pay for stuff, which credit card do you use, how do you buy train tickets, how do you basically do the day-to-day life things, which I hear is very different from back home in North America. So since I'm in China's tech capital right now, Shenzhen is considered one of the world's leading cities for technology. I thought it'd be interesting to share a little bit about the differences between China and North America when it comes to what we do here on this YouTube channel, which is maximizing credit cards and maximizing loyalty programs for traveling the world. There are some major differences in how everything works in terms of payments, in terms of loyalty programs and points programs, in terms of playing the game of earning and maximizing points between China and between North America. And so as somebody who has strong ties on both sides of the Pacific, I thought it would be interesting to make this video to compare and contrast the two. If you think it's an interesting topic to hear about, if you appreciate the global perspective, or if you just think that this Park Skyline View Suite is really well designed, then go ahead and hit the like button down below and subscribe to the Prince of Travel YouTube channel. That really helps the video's performance here on YouTube. It helps spread the video to even more viewers. And without further ado, let's begin. All right, I think a natural starting point would be to talk about payments and how people on both sides of the Pacific pay for stuff in their day-to-day lives. Because after all, a large part of what we do here at Prince of Travel is about maximizing your spending in your day-to-day life through payment vehicles such as credit cards. Now, in North America, in Canada, and the United States, we've got our credit cards which earn rewards on our day-to-day spending. Now, in terms of actually making the payment at the point of sale, a lot of the times we'll pull out an actual plastic card or metal card if you're a high roller and make the payment through chip, swipe, or tap. Mobile payment services such as Apple Pay, Samsung Pay, and Google Pay have been on the rise in recent years, although I would say that there's still a minority in terms of the overall transaction volume, and most people are still pulling out a piece of plastic, whether that's a credit card or, God forbid, a debit card to make their purchase. So that's the payments landscape in North America. Now let's take a look at China, where things are pretty different. Basically, everything is on your phone. Whether you're paying merchants for goods and services, transferring money to your friends and family, ordering a taxi, ordering food delivery, signing up for basically anything you want, everything is done through one of two mobile payment apps, WeChat and Alipay. These are the two predominant mobile payment apps that make up 95% of all transactions in China, whether it's official transactions with a merchant or unofficial transactions such as sending money to a friend. Now, your WeChat or Alipay accounts can be connected to your local Chinese bank account, your local credit card, or indeed a foreign credit card if you're somebody who's traveling here as a tourist. You're able to connect, let's say, a credit card that has no foreign transaction fees, such as the HSBC World Elite MasterCard in Canada, or let's say any of the rewards earning cards in the US to your WeChat or Alipay so that you can continue to earn points on your purchases. Basically, you can think of WeChat and Alipay as kind of similar to Apple Pay, Samsung Pay, and Google Pay, but instead of these being features on your phone by Apple, Samsung, and Google that allow you to connect a credit or debit card and make payments through your phone, imagine that they were actually standalone apps made by Apple, Samsung, and Google. And now imagine that these apps also rolled in features from Interac eTransfer in Canada or Venmo in the United States, allowing you to send money to friends and family easily, as well as loading up a balance within the app that you can spend more conveniently, and also things like encompassing other apps like Uber or Uber Eats so that everything is hosted on the same platform and you basically have this one-stop shop app to take care of all of your life's day-to-day needs. So now that we understand the payments infrastructure, let's talk about earning rewards on your payments. And we have to cover a few key differences in the credit card business models between China and North America. Now, back in Canada and the US, the credit card business model is pretty well documented. The banks can earn some pretty high interchange fees on every transaction that customers make with a credit card, and it passes along a portion of that profit back to the consumer in the form of rewards points. The banks also make money on annual fees and interest on people who are carrying a balance on their credit cards, And by offering these very juicy rewards points, the banks are hoping that more and more people are attracted to these credit cards and end up misusing them so that they are profitable for the banks themselves. Of course, those of you who watch this channel and who are in this community are savvy enough to beat the banks at their own game and come out ahead with the rewards compared to the fees that we're paying, but ultimately, we're in the minority, which is why we can keep playing the game. Now hop on over across the Pacific and things are pretty different for Chinese credit card issuers. Like most of the rest of the world, government regulations limit how high of an interchange fee that the credit card issuers can charge on every transaction. And here it's 0.45%. This greatly limits the value of the rewards that credit card issuers can pass along to the consumer. And when you combine that with the fact that, culturally speaking, there's very little appetite for consumers to carry a credit card balance just because it's seen as unwelcome and not a great idea to carry debt in the Eastern mindset, overall, Chinese credit card issuers don't make a lot of money. And as a result, I would say that the usage of credit cards as a spending tool simply hasn't filtered through to society to quite the same extent as it has over in North America. I mean, credit cards still exist, merchants still accept them, but they're kind of seen as an inconvenience compared to straight up using your WeChat or Alipay to pay directly from your balance or your bank account. I swear, every time I go somewhere in China and I need to pay with a credit card, the people are like, oh, credit card, eh? Like, let me get my machine, let me like hit the buttons for you. Oh, hold on, this machine doesn't work with your credit card. We need that machine over there. And you're kind of seen like, yeah, a bit of a weirdo for paying with a credit card. Whereas if you're using your payment apps, it's the default, right? They've got the QR code on the counter. They don't even have to say anything. You just take out your phone, swipe it, pay, and then you're done. And among Chinese people who do use credit cards, typically the wealthier segment with higher incomes, they'll link their credit cards to their WeChat or Alipay as we discussed, and they'll earn points on their purchases, and they'll also enjoy some benefits from being a card holder. But those points earning rates, the value of those points, and the card benefits are probably going to be less generous than what we're accustomed to seeing back in North America. In fact, there's even a Chinese bank program whose points can be converted into Aeroplan points that we have in Canada. It's called Ping An Wan Li Tong points. So yeah, if you have any Ping An Wan Li Tong points, you can convert them into Aeroplan at a ratio of 50 Ping An Wan Li Tong points equals 1 Aeroplan point. So with that being said, we can ask the question, is there still a credit card game to be played in terms of maximizing credit card points for traveling the world here in China compared to back in North America? And I would say that the answer to that question is no and yes. Let me explain. For the vast majority of average Chinese consumers, the answer is probably no. Because of all the factors that we talked about, the sign-up bonuses are lower, the points earning rates are lower, and the benefits are not as strong. There's less appeal in credit cards as a whole. It's not really going to be the case for the average Chinese person that they can open 1 or 2 credit cards and score business class travel around the world like we have in Canada and the United States. Instead, a closer reality would be something like spending on your credit card for years and years and then having enough points to maybe redeem for like a household item, or if you're lucky, a flight somewhere domestically within the country. Most Chinese people probably wouldn't be inclined to bother with credit cards in the first place because WeChat and Alipay are already so convenient and so ubiquitous in the first place. It's already taken care of their payment needs. Credit card rewards isn't really part of the overall consciousness, so it's just not really something that people care about. However, if we step away from the average person and think about the true maximizers and boundary pushers of travel and loyalty programs, then let me tell you, Chinese people take things to a whole new level compared to what we do in North America. I'll illustrate with an example. A few years ago, the Alaska Airlines Mileage Plan program had to limit last-minute redemptions within Asia on Cathay Pacific flights because there were too many China-based mileage brokers who were buying Alaska miles when they were on sale and redeeming them for Cathay Pacific business and first class flights on behalf of clients and selling these flights to their clients at a significant markup compared to the price at which they bought miles on sale. Obviously, this significant markup was still a huge discount compared to the cash fare of Cathay Pacific business class and first class last-minute flights. Basically, I found over time that people in China and to some extent the rest of Asia who are interested in mileage currencies and loyalty programs and leveraging these to travel, whether it's for themselves or for their loved ones or for their clients, tend to be more hustling and enterprising and willing to push boundaries compared to what we're accustomed to North America, where most of us are playing by the rules. Of course, that's not to say that we in North America don't like to push boundaries when we believe they should be pushed. We certainly do. But I've just found over time that it is a bit of a pattern that people in Asia tend to be more willing to go the distance in order to maximize their benefit. And as a very interesting side consequence to this, you'll generally find a lot more juicy information about things like manufactured spending or loopholes that don't really get talked about publicly on Chinese language websites that are targeted towards Chinese people living in North America, at least compared to English language websites where we tend not to go too in-depth into those juicy topics. So one strategy, if you do want to learn that juicy information, might be to browse Chinese language websites with Google Translate, and you might pick up a few gems or two. Finally, let's conclude by talking about loyalty programs outside of just travel, but in society as a whole across many different industries. Now, this is something that I've been observing during my time here, and I'm still in the process of learning more about loyalty programs and how they work across all of China, but I'll just share a few of my observations. It seems to me that in both China and North America, loyalty programs have proliferated into a whole bunch of different industries. I mean, back in Canada, we've got loyalty programs for shopping malls and restaurant chains and stuff like that. Same here in China, where basically every mall or department store, restaurant and stuff, you'll see some sort of points program, some sort of discount program being offered to you when you make your purchase. So loyalty programs are everywhere in both places, but I will say that they seem to be a little bit more integrated between different industries here in China compared to back in North America. There's a lot of very interesting examples of this. Let's say you shop frequently at a certain mall, you earn points with that mall, and then you're able to redeem those points as part of the loyalty program of Didi Chuxing, which is China's version of Uber, in exchange for discounted rides to and from that mall. That's just one example. There seems to be more appetite for companies in different industries to partner with each other as part of these coalition loyalty programs and offer value to their mutual customers where it makes sense. And perhaps back in North America, there's regulatory issues that make these kinds of things more challenging. I mean, we tend to see them within airlines and hotels. For example, Marriott Bonvoy and United Airlines have a partnership, American Airlines and Hyatt Hotels have a partnership, but not so much across other industries. And I think there is room for more innovation to leverage the well-documented power of loyalty programs and provide even more value to customers as they go about their day-to-day lives. And I mean, we're already seeing a trend of that in Canada with Aeroplan, Canada's largest frequent flyer program, striking up new partnerships this year with Starbucks in coffee and Rocky Mountaineer in luxury train travel to offer their customers who are interested in these things the ability to get even more value out of Aeroplan. And I think Aeroplan will be continuing to go down that path of striking up these new partnerships and offering more earning and redeeming opportunities in people's day-to-day lives. Anyway, that's my comparison between China and North America in terms of what I know best: credit card rewards, points programs, and traveling the world. Let me know if there's any part of the analysis that you think I've overlooked or glossed over. Let me know in the comments, because I'm also very curious on this topic. I'm always looking to learn more and absorb more material on the topic as well. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to hit the like button down below and subscribe to the Prince of Travel YouTube channel. Just click the subscribe button below the video. Let me know in the comments if you have any lingering questions. I'd be happy to do more research and follow up, and I'll see you in the next video. I think a natural, and as a result, the usage of credit cards, in fact, there's even a Chinese bank program whose points can be converted to Aeroplan points that we have. Anyway, that's my comparison.